Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bluebeam Tools, Markup, Chest, and more. My name is Juliana, and I work in marketing here at MicroCAD. And today's presenter is Julian Nino, our applications specialist. At today's webinar, we will cover the basics around the markups, basics, the tool chest, the toolbars, and way more. Throughout the webinar, you can ask a question at any given point on the left-hand corner. You can ask Julian to revisit a step or ask any questions. This is your time, and we want you to make the most of it. And in the upper left-hand corner, you will find links to our social media, website, and YouTube channel. Make sure to check our YouTube channel. We post all of our webinars there at the end, so you can share with colleagues or rewatch it on your own time. And without further ado, we'll pass it on to Julian. Hi, Juli.
Hi, Juliana. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Um, and welcome, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Please, Juli, just give me confirmation if you can see it.
Yep, we can see it now.
Alrighty, everyone. So once again, welcome to one of these Bluebeam webinars. And as Juliana mentioned, today we are going to cover up kind of like the basics, the starting elements that we are going to see when we are starting with Bluebeam, and why not a little bit more advanced set of tools. So before we start, just a quick recap on Bluebeam. Probably at this point you already know. This is kind of like the standard for the AC industry when it comes to PDF and document management. We are going to be able to create PDF inside of Bluebeam. We have integration with other softwares. The main feature that we are going to have is markups, definitely. Organization is included inside the software, and collaboration. So today we are going to focus on that markup portion of our software. Now, what is going to be on the agenda? We're going to do a slight mention of what's new on Bluebeam. So at this point, probably you're already on review 21, or you continue with review 20. And the tools that we are going to mention today are going to work on both versions. So after that, we are going to jump into some of the tools that we mentioned, and I'm going to show you some of my favorite ADC tools that I use on a day-to-day basis. Now, what's new? So review 21 now is subscription-based, right? Meaning that I'm not going to need that product key, serial number, detached from my computer to pass it to a new one, right? Now everything is going to be with my email, so I'm going to be able to do a quick sign in. In addition to that, I'm going to be able to customize and have access to my tool chest anywhere, meaning that if I need to work from my office computer to my home computer, I'm going to still have access to that tool chest, right? And the only thing that I need is to sign in. Now, the plugins have been updated for all versions of different Autodesk softwares, such as Navisworks, Revit, AutoCAD. I know a bunch of us work between AutoCAD and Revit. Creator PDF and Bluebeam is that great tool that allows us to work on the markups. In addition to that, now we have the option for cloud, which is a product of Bluebeam, where we are going to be able to upload our drawings to a location in the cloud. And these drawings are going to have that great access either from an iOS device or web access. So for those of you that have Android, that is okay. We can still have access to our drawings via a web browser access, right? And we are going to be able to do those quick notes on the side, those markups, and we are going to be able to send feedback to our office to make those changes on real time. Now, let's jump to the tools that we are going to discuss today, right? So we mentioned markup tools, properties, tool chest, and the markup list. So let me jump to the software. So right here, it's going to be a little bit empty. Maybe you're not accustomed to this type of deal. That is okay, because I'm going to show you where we can start customizing our work area. So first of all, you can notice on the top right, is going to have my user, right? So every time that I log in, I'm going to be able to sign out or sign in to my projects. So this is kind of like the first improvement that we are going to have because all my tools are going to be available right there. Next thing that I want to share with you guys is when we go to review, right there on the administrator, this is going to sound, give me an administrator sound for a minute, is going to give me this dialog box. And from right here, I'm going to be able to manage my plugins. So I'm going to be able to have quick access from my AutoCAD, from my Revit, from my Navisworks. If I'm using Outlook, I can also use that Bluebeam plugin, right? Save me some time on document creation and any documentation type that I need for my day-to-day work, right? So that is going to be a great deal. Now, I always like to share this. When we get a review, any version, we usually get a starting screen, and sometimes we forgot about it. So from right here on the help, we are going to find this option, welcome to review. Now, with this one, we are going to have quick access to some nice Revit tutorials, right? Where we can find basic and really awesome cool videos for the tools that we are using, and as well this friend right here, the sample file. So this guy I always like to use for quick examples of what we are going to use. So getting that out of the way, we are going to start with our markup definitions. So first of all, we have set up our user, right? So up to that point, we are good on that one. But next thing that you're going to notice is probably we have different layouts for our toolbars, right? Or on tools. We are going to have different setups for our panels, right? And I'm going to let you know, we can always go right here to the top left, hit review, and we can start customizing our profiles. So most of you probably are going to start with the basic review definition. So from right here, you're going to be able to see the set of tools. Maybe when you start getting a little bit more advanced, you're going to start creating using the review advanced. And right here, you can see the toolbars are going to change a little bit. The location is going to be different, right? But something good about this option is that we can start customizing our profiles. So not all the tools we need to start identify right away. Probably some of these icons, I don't even know what they do, right? So a quick access that I can have for these tools, maybe I can start with something simple with the cloud, right? That makes sense. I know what that cloud is going to do, but maybe I don't know what this guy do. So that is the stamp. So I can go right here to tools, and from tools, I can select the option markup. And this is great because right now I can see, okay, that A means text box, and I can see a bunch of different definitions right here of the tools that I can use. Now, notice as well right here, we have the option for toolbars where I can start selecting and why not customizing my own toolbars. So let me give you an example. Right here, I'm going to hit customize. And right here, I can find different categories that I can apply. So if I only want to focus on markups, I can select that particular category. And right here, you can see a bunch of different tools that I can start adding to my particular toolbar. So let's say that for me, it's important to have the rectangle. So what I can do is add the rectangle, right, to my toolbar. I can hit apply. And notice right here, now I'm going to see the rectangle toolbar for easy access for me. Now, let me go back. The profile that I am accustomed to use, a little bit more simple one, is going to be the review. So let's start from this one. Now, once we access our toolbars, right, you can also see the different elements that we have on the left side that are our panels. If you need to hide your panels, you can select this option to have a more clean view of your project. Right here on the right side, we can find our tools, right? And we can start using this component. So let me go ahead and start with something simple. Right here, creating a cloud. Bluebeam has this feature that is going to allow us to quickly create a cloud by holding our mouse, our left mouse click, right? And I can start customizing my cloud. So that is one option. The other one is going to be maybe 2 points, or even if I hold my shift key, I'm going to have a more well-defined and detailed type of markup. So that is simple. But the next thing that we are going to notice is that sometimes the navigation could be a little bit different from drawing to drawing. And right here is where we are going to use this set of tools, the pan, the selection, and the text selection. Now, the one that I prefer to use is text selection because I'm going to be able to zoom in, zoom out using my scroll wheel. If I hold my scroll wheel, I'm going to be able to pan, right? And at the same time, I'm going to be able to select any text on my model, on my PDF. As well, you can do the same with the selection. It's going to allow you to do the same, but text selection is something definitely cool that we would like to use. Now, on any markup that we create on Bluebeam, you're going to notice after I create it, it's going to give me some control points. And these guys are going to be really cool and really interesting because this is something that we sometimes are unaware that they exist. So I can right click on any selection and you can see that we have an options to add different control points. So if I need to add something additional to my selection, I can add a different control point, make some different adjustments to my elements right there. In addition to that, you're going to notice this control point that is outside to make quick edits when it comes to rotation, right? And this is going to be great because one of the best tools that we have right here when it comes to creating markups on our project is going to be the polyline. So, or the polygon tool. So if I select the polygon tool, notice that I'm going to be able to come, for example, right here to this meeting room. And I like to always show this guy. Do you notice that something changed on my screen? That is the F8 key, which is going to load up the tools for use the snap.
Wait, sorry, I think the screen got frozen. Can you?
Oh, let me try to refresh it.
Yeah.
Let me know if you can see it now.
Yep. Thank you.
Alrighty, so and just give me confirmation if the you can see the mouse moving.
Can you move it again? Sorry.
Yeah.
No,
Let me
not
cross
really.
on
It's
the screen.
moving. It's moving like very robotic. Like
Like
okay,
really
but
slow.
we see you drawing there with the red
Yeah,
line.
yeah. I just made 3 lines. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can see confirmation on the chat. Yeah, sorry guys. And maybe if you can do a quick refresh, that will be great. I'm going to repeat just the last step. So right here, what I did was showing you on the different tools, we have the control points, right? The control points are going to appear at the end of any of your markups, right? And when we right click, we have the option to add control points. Now, when we are using predefined tools such as the rectangle or the cloud, and we just leave 4 points, you're not going to be able to add additional points. So just make sure that you can use the polygon tool. So we can add or remove control points. So notice right here, the selection. When I right click on top of it, I can do an add control point. I can subtract a control point. And what I want to show with this element right here is that I can get to a certain level of detail. when it comes to my room definition. So for example, right here, you can see that I'm drawing around this room. I can get rid of those control points that I do not need. There we go. And I can even convert one of my lines to arcs. So right here, I'm going to have a more clean, detailed markup, right? In addition to that, maybe we are just doing some markups, right? We don't need that level of detail. But what I want to show you is that right here at the top, we are going to find those quick edits and modify for the properties. So right here, we can start with something simple. Maybe I need to add a field for this room, but probably that is not something that I want to show and share with my teammates, right? So next to that field, I have the option to change the opacity. Maybe I want to have that at 50%, why not? Right? So this is going to highlight my rooms and my annotations, right? So this is something really cool that I can show with my teammates. Maybe I can get to this point and level of detail where I can share with them, okay, I need this to happen on my project and why not, and have those different definitions. Now, once again, when you select your markups, in addition to that, I have the option to change my line color and why not, and as well the line weight. And you will say, yeah, I already know about this, right? Where it's going to start making a little bit more sense and where we are going to organize our project is this guy right here at the left. Probably you have not noticed it, but this is the subject definition. With this one, we can start changing the definitions of the elements that we are using because sometimes I need to repeat that process. So instead of polygon, maybe this is going to be um, a request or an issue. So I can name that in that way, right? So later when I select it, I'm going to know, okay, this is an issue. So every time that I see that on my drawing, it's going to have a reference. Now, something additional that we are going to be able to do is sometimes we are creating some lines on our project to make some definitions, right? Once again, I'm going to repeat this step. If you hit F8 on your keyboard, notice that it's going to show me the status bar at the bottom. This tool is great. This snap to markup and this snap to content because it's going to give me the precision that I need when it comes to selecting components. So notice I'm going to zoom in all the way. Maybe you're going to be able to see the different snaps that I get on my model. So right there, my mouse is locking to the center. And right here, this is going to be a nice and cool feature that I'm going to be able to use is right here, all the way to the right, if I select the option highlight, notice what is happening. Let me zoom in and make this a little bit more cool. So right here, let's say that my comment to my team is that, okay, this wall needs to have a different type of definition. So what I'm going to do is change the line weight, right? So let's say that I need to go up to 7. You can use the up and down arrows, or as well, you can make the change and change the points of your definition, right? Maybe I went too far. Maybe it's just 6 what I need. Maybe I need to change the color, right? So you kind of like get the idea. But what is great is that we can turn this into a highlight, right? By selecting this option, it's going to show me the background components from my PDF model and my project. And let me be honest, guys, I used to do this. Go and select my highlight, right? Select my color, and I don't have the precision. So notice my mouse, and I'm not even exaggerating. So that is kind of like silly, right? If I want to highlight something on my model, that is going to look all really bad. And even if I change the points, right, I'm not going to be able to achieve that level of detail. So having that combination of basic tools, right, that we have, such as the line, the polyline, the polygon, right? You can later use the highlight option to improve your markup. So this is going to be really cool. Now, so far we just saw a couple of basic ones, right? So the polygon, right? We use the highlight, we use the lines, we use the clouds. One of the ones that we use the most is the callout, right? And even if you're just a beginner, even if you're an experienced Bluebeam user, right here with the callout, sometimes we forgot that we need to select the starting point. So that is where we are going to start. Then the endpoint is where we are going to be able to place our text. So maybe right here, I'm missing the label. So I'm going to type in right there the label. And from right there, pretty much I'm done, right? But at some point, I want to start customizing this feature, right? So I want to make sure that, okay, this is going to be an observation item that I need for my teammates, right? So maybe it is important for me to have a line weight around. So notice right here, I can have that line weight. Now it's important for me, maybe it's not red, maybe it's a standard for my company to be green, right? So I can change that all the way to the right. I can change it as well, right? Maybe it's important for me to have a fill. So I can select a different color. So let's say that that one is going to be my fill. And maybe just change a little bit the opacity to have more clear level of details. Now I will see a bunch of markups like this, and I forgot, hey, what about the sync next to it? Most of us, what we'll do is the following. I will need to come right here, create an arrow, and you just notice I forgot that in this case, the arrow needs to go the other way. Maybe I end up doing this. And maybe sometimes I need to repeat the process, right? Changing the color, make sure that is the same color, changing the fill, make sure that is the same fill. Uh, and that is time consuming. Let me show you another way. So let's get rid of this line. We are going to select our callout, and notice right here, we have a control point. We are going to right click, and we can add an additional leader, right? Pretty cool stuff, because I'm going to be able to use that on different elements that I need for my project. Even I can continue adding multiple leaders, and maybe I need to find another sync, right? So you can all get the idea what we can achieve and do with the edits that we have for our markups. Now, all the markups that we have on Bluebeam, I'm going to show you that ellipse right there. Always do a quick check and do a right click and see with options that I have for edit on those control points, right? On those definitions. So later we can customize the settings that we have. Now, so far we have only talked about markups, right? And you will say, okay, do I need to, every time that I'm doing this label, go ahead and recreate it? And the answer is no. Remember right here, the guide that we have right here on the left, the subject, instead of callout, we can name it issue, right? Or labeling. So that way, next time that I use it, I need to have that. Right here, the highlight that I create is, instead of line, this is going to be a change for my project. And this is pretty cool, because a way that I can reply to all these comments and I can start reusing my markups is going right here on the left side to my tool chest. Now, let me open that tool chest. Now, you can see that I have a bunch of stuff right here, probably a bunch of stuff that I never use. You can start customizing your tool chest by hitting settings, right? Maybe you can start hiding some of the components that you don't want. You can export some of the components that you like, or as well, you can come right here and just turn off the ones that you're not using. So maybe just your tools, right? Maybe just your recent tools. And under recent tools, you can see that I have my labeling, right? Maybe I have that ellipse that I create. I have my change, right? And even if I start customizing the cloud, so you notice right here I have pretty cool clouds. Let's create one for ourselves. So right here, let's say that the cloud that I want to create is going to be like this. We can customize the colors that we need. We can even customize the border type that I need for my cloud, right? I can customize the size of my cloud, right? You can see right here the level of precision that I might need. Maybe on your company you have a little small clouds, right? Right here you can add the fill that you want. Always changing that opacity to have a cooler look. And right here, notice even I can turn this to highlight, right? I can select this option as a highlight. So that way I'm not hiding any elements on the background. Oh, the screen froze again. Let me refresh, guys. Sorry about that. And please let me know if you can see it. And I'm just moving my mouse.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and right there, I think you didn't miss a lot. The only thing that I did and show was the option that, remember, we can use highlight, right? So that way I'm not hiding anything in the background. So this is cool because I used to do a lot of markups, and at some point I end up hiding a bunch of stuff that is important for my drawing to see and notice. But with the highlight option, I'm going to be able to show it really nice and really cool. And remember, right here, maybe this is going to be my particular cloud with my initials. Now, all this that we are adding and creating, I'm going to need to use it later. So a nice right click, remember guys, right click, and we're going to find this setting right here, add to tool chest. So what I can potentially do with that one is add this to my tools. So notice right here how it changed my tool checks. Now I'm going to be able to use that cloud next time. I'm going to do the same thing for the label. Right click, add to tool chest, my tools. Right here you can see it. Last but not least, let me go ahead and add my line. Right click, add to tool chest and my tools. So I'm going to go to other part of my building and I need to add, let's say, my cloud. What I'm going to do is from right here, notice that we have the option to click and drag. And from right here, I can modify it, right? So I can make the adjustments. That is a really nice option that I can use. And that is one kind of like a method, right? So this is the drawing option. But for example, like this, someone is selling the screen is froze again. Let me see what is going on, guys. Sorry, give me a second right here. Let me change to only my Bluebeam. So I'm going to share only my Bluebeam. Can you guys see it? I'm moving my mouse, by the way. There you go. Can you guys see it? I'm moving the label around.
Yeah, now we see it.
All right. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So right here, this tool, labeling, I actually don't want to have this weird configuration, right? So if you want to use this type of tool, what you can do is click twice on top of the tool, and you're going to notice that it's going to appear a small box. That means that we are on properties mode. And when I click that tool, what it's going to allow me to do is to go ahead and click the selection, and I can go ahead and type in whatever I want. So, for example, right here, I need a detail, right? And if you need to add additional leaders, notice that it's going to keep those colors that I need, that I create for my project, and I'm going to be able to have those available. Same thing for the line. Right here, the line. I don't want to customize it and modify it, right? I can simply double click. So I am in properties mode. And right here, when I draw it, it's going to automatically follow my direction. So all this to start customizing your markups, right? And why not? Having that nice access of tools. And if you remember, for each one of these guys, we modify the subject, right? And that is okay because I can potentially create a new tool, right? So right here, this is a new cloud. And notice, from right here, I can even add to my tool chest. So if you want to create additional set of tools, you can do it from right here. So this is going to save you a lot of time when it comes to your markups. And now, last but not least, all of this that we are doing is going to start making sense when we are using the markup list. So right here at the bottom left of your screen, you're going to find access to the markups of your project. And let me just move this right here above. And you're going to find this really nice set of tools, right? That is going to tell me and is going to allow me to organize by subject. So I can start, for example, creating subjects for the architect, right? I can start creating subjects for the contractor, maybe the engineer. And right here, you can see as well, I can start creating for users. So you can see the last changes that I create right here. I can use this markup list to go to any specific markup on my project. So let's see what this one is. Notice it's going to take me right there with a comment that is going to tell me provide Mullion detail, right? The date where it was created. Now, let me go ahead and try to look one of the ones that I did. This cloud right here. There we go. You can see right there the information. If I wanted to add a comment, I can do it from right here on the markup list. I'm just going to say hi to the audience. And that information is going to be available right there. So has it happened to you before that you receive a drawing with a bunch of comments, a bunch of markups, and you don't know what they are trying to refer? So using that comment option is going to be great because it's going to allow you and your team to identify what is happening on your project, right? And you can share those markups with your team. Now, a combination of markups, tools, and the markup list are definitely going to make your life easier when it comes to the use of your software. So let me go ahead and just hide this a little bit right here on our screen. Now, this is kind of like just the first step of our presentation, right? Markup tools, properties toolbar, tool chest, and markup list. I'm going to go ahead and show you one of the favorite tools that I use on a daily basis. So let's start with sign and seal. On a bunch of projects, we are going to end up printing our drawings, right? But then maybe we are going to forget to add our signature, right? So right here, a tip that I have for you guys, if you're not familiar with all the icons, right? Maybe we are studying, right here, go to help. And on help, we are going to find this feature that is named Find Tools and Commands. Right here, I can go ahead and hit the option PDF, right? So for example, I can see all the options related to PDF or sign. So from right here, I can see all the options for sign, right? Or maybe even have all the options for seal. So from right here, maybe I can sign and seal my document. So once again, let me type seal,
I
click.
don't know if you saw the question.
Oh yeah, let me finish and I can jump to that,
Okay, good.
that island. So from right here, you can do sign and seal, and you can start saving your new floor plan. So I'm just going to do something like floor plan one. Let me save it on my desktop. And it's going to take me to the sign and seal options for my project. So from right here, you can select the options for digital signatures, right? For passwords to protect your document and why not. And as well, if you want to add some seals of approval and why not. Let me go just finish this. We have stamps as well. So let me show you an example of a stamp. You can go ahead and start customizing this guy. You can right click, right? And when you right click, you can add it to your tool chest and why not. Even you can hit the properties option, right? And from right here, modify your seal. So let's say that this seal is going to have your name. So right here, let's say that it's going to have mine, just as a quick example. And just like that, you can set it as a default, add it to your tool chest. So next time you're going to be able to use it. So let me close, let me save, and next seal that I'm going to add is going to have that information. And sorry guys, so the question is, if we send a PDF to a person that doesn't have Bluebeam, can they see all this and the markup list? The answer is they are going to be able to see all the markups. Unfortunately, they are not going to be able to see the markup list. The markup list is only accessible for users of Bluebeam. But if they have previous versions of Bluebeam, so for example, right now I'm using 21. If they have 20, they are going to be able to see it. Maybe if there's a tool that is only for that specific version, they are not going to see that particular one, but you're still going to be able to see the markup list. So if a user has any other type of PDF reader, they are going to see my markups, but they are not going to see that level of detail. So for example, when I double click right here, you can see the section for comments. So right here, this one is the one that it says, hi for you guys. But yeah, only Bluebeam users are going to be able to see the markup list, but any other PDF users and readers, they are going to see all our markups. Alrighty, so there we go. Sign and seal is going to be a great tool for our drawings, and you can start customizing information. So right here, once again, if we hit the properties option, maybe right here we can start modifying it. So it's going to show different information on dates and why not. So this is going to be a really cool feature to have. Now, next tool that I like to use a lot is the compare tool. So, oops, let me go back. So compare tool is going to be one of those tools that we are going to use on a daily basis for our teams when we are comparing different versions of our software, of our drawings and our projects. So right here, to use the compare tool, let me show you something. So remember, I saved this as floor plan one. So let me hit file save. I'm going to open up a new drawing. So I'm going to open up a new floor plan. Now, before we jump into the compare tool, let me show you this guy right here. On the bottom right, synchronize view. Remember, if you want to get this tab, type in F8, that is the status bar. The synchronize views is going to allow me to do the following. Notice right here on the right side, I'm zooming in to my conference, and on the left side, I'm going to have a reflected image of that one. So synchronized views is a life changing, right? Now let me save this floor plan on a location that I can find it. I'm going to save it right there on the desktop, and I'm going to start doing the compare. Now, if I go to right here, batch, or if I go to document, we are going to find the options, compare documents. So let me go ahead and select that option, compare documents. It's going to give me the dialog box for selecting my document A. So I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to find my original floor plan. Then document B, the one with the version 1, hit open. And right here, just double check the output for your drawings. So I'm going to select my desktop. Now, once I'm done with it, I'm going to hit OK. What the software is going to do is right here is going to tell me an element that is named div. So right here is going to highlight any changes on my drawing. So on this one, probably you're not going to be able to notice it or see it, but some of the highlight elements are going to be highlighted in red, right? And I can tell you an even better example. Let me give you this one. So right here, I'm going to, once again, hit compare documents. I'm going to find a location of one of my sample projects that I have. So right here, let me just look for the location. So right here, oh, wrong folder, right here. So this one right here, oh, no, never mind, this one right here. So once again, my first floor plan, so floor plan 1, then the revision 1. Let me hit OK. And let's take a look at the difference. So on the comparing tools, I would like to have the synchronized view, because if I zoom in kind of like to the right, you're going to notice it's going to highlight, right, around that detail. So I'm enclosing that column. So that makes sense. Now let's go right here. The change right here, you're going to notice, okay, yeah, I added a door. So this is a nice to see the difference between drawings. So this is really cool, because if I'm new to that project and I don't know what happened, so probably right here, you're not going to be able to notice, okay, I changed the door direction. So this is a really cool tool if we are working on that 11-hour and we are receiving different set of drawings. We are not sure what is happening in our model. So in our project. So this is a great tool to compare. Now, one last but not least, other tool that I like is going to be the overlay pages. And this is really cool when we are working with different consultants. So once again, overlay pages. In overlay, I'm going to have an original file. So in this case, guys, I have an electrical drawing. It's going to be my first drawing. We can change the color of the markups and layouts. So in this case, it's going to be red. And on the other one, it's going to be a plumbing drawing. So in this case, we are going to keep it under green. Once I'm done, I can start seeing what is happening on my project. I'm going to hit OK. And notice what is going to happen. So right here, first of all, we need to recognize this. Not all our teams are going to have the same title block, right? So right here, the overlay is going to completely tell me, hey, everything is out of place and out of proportion. So I cannot do a nice comparison or overlay of these drawings. So we have this cool option. So let me not save that. I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to do document, overlay pages. Once again, I'm going to start with my electrical. I'm going to keep the red color. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to add my plumbing one. And I'm going to hit open. The color once again. But before I hit accept, I'm going to do some alignment points. So when I click align, it's going to take me first to my electrical plan. So notice right here. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to use a reference of a location that I know that hasn't changed. So for example, I'm going to select these 3 points. Right here, 1. Right here, 2. Right here, 3. And remember, that is important to have the status bar with the snaps. And you sometimes can see the original location of those 3 points. And you're going to see, okay, so this is pretty, the change of location is pretty big, right? So I'm going to do the same. So right here, point 1, point 2, and 0.3. So once I have an alignment, I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see on dark and kind of like gray, we are going to find the elements that didn't change, right? And on red, we are going to find one discipline, and on green, we are going to find the other one. So right here is going to be pretty cool because now I'm going to have my architectural on the background, right, with any changes, but I can see what my disciplines are doing. So right here, I can see some coordination aspects or elements that I need to take care of in my project, right? So this set of tools, once again, inside document, we have compare documents and overlay pages. Those are really, really nice tools that we are going to use. And last but not least, I'm just going to mention it because we have upcoming webinars with this tool. Finish line is one great tool that is going to allow us to move the markups, right, and see them on our Revit model. So if you have time to attend to one of our following webinars, remember that name, Finish Line, because I'm going to be able to see some of those markups from Bluebeam inside our Revit models. So that is going to be everything on my end, guys. I hope you have enjoyed today's session, and please let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Juli, for that wonderful presentation. I think we have one question here. Oh, I don't know if you already covered it, but it says, "What if your drawings are different scale? Would the 3 points allow automatic scaling?" Oh, Juli, we can't hear you. Maybe you're muted.
Yes, I was. Sorry. Thanks. So great question about Brian. So if you have different scales, the first thing that you're going to notice when you do the 3-point alignment is that the overlay is going to change. So in that case, what I'm going to suggest is that you can go to your particular drawings, especially if they are not coming from uh, AutoCAD or Revit, right? So right here, what I would recommend is that notice that this one has been scaled, right? So you can go to your tools, you can go to measurements. And if you don't see the icon for measurements on the measurements panel, remember you can always hit help, find tools and commands, and right here,
Oh,
measure.
Juli, we cannot see like the screen. Maybe we're just seeing the presentation.
Oh, sorry. Let me see because I think I was sharing only the PowerPoint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. There you go. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. So right here, once again, if you're using the 3-point alignment, you're going to notice that, okay, those are going to have different scales, right? So what you can do is go back to your, let's say your plumbing or your electrical, right? And in this case, you can go to your panels, look for the measurement tool, right? And if you don't find it, you can go right here to the help, find tools and commands, type in measurement to pop up that panel. And from right here, what you can do is recalibrate your drawing. So if you're completely sure, for example, that the plumbing one is the one that is right, so what you can do is the following. Notice right here, I'm going to go to measurements. I'm going to use length. And right here, I'm going to make sure that this length right here, right? If I don't have it calibrated, I'm going to calibrate it to the custom scale that I need. So let's say that is going to be 1/4. Let me just double check. Yeah, 1/4. So right there, that is going to be my measure. Then next thing that I'm going to do is come right here to the electrical and calibrate it. And from there, Brian, you can once again do the 3 points. So just double check that you have that option. Now, something additional that you can do is when you hit document and overlay pages, let me add a new one. So notice that right here, you can have a custom setting to customize the scale of your particular drawing, right? Now this one requires a little bit more precision when you're adjusting the the elements for alignment and overlay. I hope that has solved your question, Brian.
Thank you, Juli. Another question from Heather. Do you need to save the new tool styles to the user profile?
Great question, Heather. So right here, let me go to this one. So for example, do you remember that we just saved it to my tools? So with the review 21, luckily for us, is every time that you save it on my tools, they are going to be open on the next session. Now, if you want to save them on your user profile, most of the time user profile, what is going to take care is the location of your tools. So for example, the ones that I have right here, the location of my panels, right? If, for example, I customize my markup list, columns, and all that, that's where I want to save these guys to my user profile. Luckily, the tool chest, right, is going to be available next time that I open them, right? And unless I delete the recent tools, so for example, I can come here to the settings. So notice I can clear up the recents, or as well, I can export this. So my recommendation will be, if you create a bunch of different tools, you can do is maybe from time to time hit save. So that is going to save your tool chest, or you can hit export if you want to share them with your team. And notice right here, the extension is going to be BTX, and that is going to be a nice way to save all your active and recent tools. And let me show you something really cool. And we can share this one as well on my screen, and this is going to be included in the recording of the webinar. Um, but we have a multiple set of tool chests available for different disciplines. So right here, you can see that when it comes to creating all these guys, it's going to take a lot of time, but Bluebeam has these custom libraries. So for example, right here, you can see some tool chests, some stamps, some profiles. So let me give you an example. Tool sets. If you're going to be working, for example, with someone on landscaping, you can go architecture and landscaping and notice all the set of predefined tools where you can find them in your Bluebeam. So you can simply go ahead and click. You can see that it's going to download. After that, you can go right here, pretty simple. Click right here, this option, right? You can manually start loading them. You can go to File, right? And from the preferences, you can import them, but I already have them. So let me go ahead and turn on Architecture Review. So right here, I have a couple of tools from the architect. Right here, maybe I have some engineering tools that I can load. And it's going to be as simple as that. I can start loading them into my project. So these ones are pretty cool to have. Now, the name of that site is going to be supportbluebeam.com, and it's going to be Review Custom Libraries. It's going to be really simple to look for. You can look on Google for tool chest Bluebeam, and Revit is going to be Review Custom Libraries. And these ones are going to be really, really useful. So that way you don't need to recreate a bunch of annotations that probably already exist.
Thank you, Juli. And we have another question. What version are you using?
Oh, yeah. So the version that I'm using currently is Review 21. This is the version that is subscription based. So it only needs my email and my credentials to have access to the software, right? So I can potentially sign out, right? And then go back in and log in my my team's computer, right? And it's going to have my tool chest. It's going to have access to Studio if I'm working on Studio, and it's going to give me all my pretty fine settings. So yeah, Review 21 is the version that I'm currently using.
Thank you. Okay, and I think we extended a bit over the time, but
Yeah,
thank you
sorry
so
about that.
much, Julie, and thank you everyone who stayed until this point. Um, Please let us know if you want to see any other topic related to this, and you can always take a custom training with Julian or someone else on our team. We offer we offer online group classes. So yeah, be sure to be checking the MicroCAD website for future webinars. We have coming up next um, in May 4, we have AI in architecture, generative solutions in Revit, Inventor, and Fusion. And then we have in May 11, what's new in AutoCAD 2024. It's not updated there, but yeah, I'm letting you know, guys. So thank you everyone for attending, and thank you, Julian. That was amazing.
Thanks, Julian, and thanks everyone for the time.